Hello and welcome to another edition of AttractWell Office Hours. I'm Coach Ashley, joined today by founder of AttractWell, Greg Kilwine. Hey, Greg.
Hello, everyone. We're so glad you're here today.
We are excited to have you here today. We're going to be talking about a really cool way that you can use AttractWell to serve your one-on-one clients in a way that you might not have considered before. So we're going to be getting into that here shortly. We also do have a couple of folks who signed up for live sessions here today to work together on the call. So we do have space set aside for you as well if you're joining here for that purpose. If you are new here, welcome. We do this every Thursday at 2 o'clock Eastern time. This is a free call for anyone who serves clients, right? If you are a coach, a creator, a consultant, if you make courses, if you have programs, if you are an information marketer, if you are a subject matter expert, and all of the many, many different ways that you can use AttractWell to build communities, build a business, and of course, create leverage in what you do. We are going to be focusing today specifically on how you can really elevate the way that you serve your one-on-one clients. And so if you work with clients on high ticket or one-on-one coaching, I think this is going to be particularly powerful for folks who are working with clients on one-on-one on maybe more sensitive information. So I'm looking at you if you are a wellness practitioner or a health coach of some kind where you're working with folks on a one-on-one basis where you want to have more sort of direct feedback back and forth between you and the client in a private setting that is kind of encapsulated all in one place. So I know a lot of us are excited to hear about this today. So I am going to be getting into that here in just a second. Just a little bit of housekeeping first. Like I mentioned, we are live here every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. You can get access to the list. You can join the list to be notified of these calls, to be the first to get resources when we give them away by going to attractwell.com/office hours. And of course, these replays are available on our YouTube channel, but we've just got such an incredible community of people here. So you just want to make sure you try and join us at least once live so that you might even meet somebody who would make a difference in your life and your business. A lot of really great connections happening in our community. By the way, speaking of community, we have a Facebook group as well. You should definitely check that out. We'll put that link in the description. Of course, Greg, if you don't mind, if we could pop that into the chat. Thank you. And then, yeah, we're going to get into some slides here today. Before we get started, where are you guys coming in from and what do you do? What's your business? So let's see, we've got excited about the subject. Awesome. I'm so happy to hear that about you, you guys today. Fantastic. Yeah, so go ahead and introduce yourself in the chat so other folks can know who's here, what kind of business you have. There are lots of different types of businesses that are supported by AttractWell, but really the unifying factor, I feel in a lot of cases, is that we work with and attract folks who serve people, not numbers. That's not to say that numbers don't happen in your business. We want you to be incredibly financially successful and to serve lots of people and build a huge list, so on and so forth. But our focus really is around how you can serve effectively with leverage, right? Really being there for your people. So let's see, we've got coaching women business owners, supporting folks going through chemo, life transition coach. Let's see, nutrition and herbalism, fantastic. Personal and professional leadership, empowerment, coaching attorneys, brand clarity expert, author, speaker, network marketing and digital marketing, coaching, personal professional development, one-on-one massage and coaching, musician and coach, diet and exercise to lose weight and reverse disease, health coach, yoga instructor, naked mind certified coach. What is that? That sounds interesting. Oh, how fascinating. Oh, I'm so excited to meet you guys today. All right, well, let's get into what you came here for. I do have some slides, and then we are going to get into some show and tell. And then, of course, I do want to make sure that we have plenty of space for the folks who signed up for live support and chatting here today on our call. Oh, I totally forgot. Look at me. I did not turn my video off. It just looks so much nicer on the replay if you don't see a face over on the side. Okay, so today we're talking about how to create a private client dashboard for one-on-one and high ticket clients. So what that means is today we're going to be talking about how we can create that dashboard using vaults and AttractWell, and how you can replicate this experience. So basically what we're doing is we are building a system that can serve one client at a time and setting it up to where you can carbon copy it and serve your next client and so on. Right. And you're still going to get all of your notifications in one place. But most importantly, their experience is going to be unified. It's going to be streamlined. And of course, you'll be able to have that private experience with everything kind of feeling all organized and together. We'll talk about some best practices for this. And of course, we will go through, again, some potential examples, obviously knowing everybody's needs and designs are going to be a little bit different. And then, of course, as usual, we will save some time for live help and Q&A. If you haven't already, tell us about your business, leave us a comment in the chat, or if you watch this as a recording, leave a comment on YouTube. We always love to learn more about the folks that show up here in this incredible community. Now, if you have questions, whether they have to do with today's subject matter or not, you're welcome to ask them. Put that into the Q&A. Our chat can get a little lively, and we don't want to miss anything that you're asking. So if you look in Zoom, there's a chat feature, but there's also a Q&A feature. So if you can drop any questions that you would like for us to address directly, then please do add those to the Q&A. Now, we do have two folks who signed up for the live session today to work together at the close of this call. And if you want to do that on a future call, you can go to attractwell.com/work review. This is an opportunity to have us sit down and look together at what you're working on, whether that has made its way onto your AttractWell site or system yet or not. We have the opportunity to put our heads together and help you to create smart systems that work well using your AttractWell platform to really make a difference in how you serve your clients and how you grow your business. And of course, if you watch this as a replay in the future and you would like to be on the list and you want to get notified of our upcoming trainings and be first to access the resources that we release often on these calls, you can go to attractwell.com/office hours to sign up. Now, if you serve one-on-one clients, it can be really, really challenging to keep everything in one place, right? You've got your email inbox where maybe they're sending you stuff there. Maybe you're texting, maybe you've purchased a platform for this purpose, right? You have a lot of different places where stuff can go. Maybe you've got a Trello board, maybe you got a Google Drive, you got all these different things, right? What if you could have it all in one spot where they can ask you questions in the same place that you're teaching, in the same place that they're uploading files, in the same place that you're giving the files to them that they need to maybe fill out if that's a part of what you do, right? It would be really cool to have that in one place, right? You can do that with us. So with AttractWell Vaults, and we'll go over kind of what a vault is here in just a moment, but with AttractWell Vaults, you can create programs, courses, groups, and membership programs as well, recurring monthly fees or even free memberships. You can do all of these things with a Vault feature in AttractWell, but if you opt to get our unlimited Vaults and online classes add-on, you've got the ability to create this course or program experience for a single client, and then for the next client and the next client and so on. You can create a portal for as many private clients as you want. Right? So think about this as like a program or a course, but in a space that is just for you and your client, right? And this unlimited Vaults and online classes feature, I believe, Greg, is it $17 a month is the add-on?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, as of the time of filming this, that is all it takes to add on, and you can serve private as many clients as you want inside of their own private space. So what would be in a private portal if you were to create something like what we're talking about today? Obviously, this is going to be custom to you, and we're certainly open and excited to have a conversation with you about what yours might need or require and talk about how it might be set up. But first, the thing that you're going to want to have in here is your content. So your content is going to ideally be in the form of an online class, right? And so this online class format is where you can share concepts. You could write these out, you could have video, you could have written content, you could have downloads, and you can additionally with content, speaking to your content that your client is going to consume, right? Ideally, if you're in a private coaching or other type of situation with a client, there's going to be information that you need to share with them in order for you to proceed. So the ideal thing that you want to have in place first is the stuff that you need to share with them in order for your work to progress, right? So that's the first and most important thing. And so what we do first is create essentially an online class, which, if we're being fair, this is something that you could sell on its own without your one-on-one support as an online class. You're actually repurposing the same content, which is pretty cool, right? But anyway, so we want to have content. Another way that you can put content into your private portal for your customers or your clients is to create a page inside of a vault, and you can embed things like videos. So let's just say, for instance, or recordings. Let's just say, for instance, that you record your calls with your client, and during the time you are working together, whatever that duration of time might be, you keep inside of this private vault recordings of your one-on-one calls. Maybe there's also a place where they can click to go and get on your calendar. Maybe the calendar is offered at certain milestones throughout the content, depending on where they've moved throughout the process, and so on. A lot of different options here. Another thing that you want to have in a private portal are assignments and uploads, because again, the whole benefit of having everything in one place is to have, well, everything in one place. Why have them email something to you or use another service or Google Drive or Trello or whatever to capture content that you need from them, when you can just have them upload it right where you're explaining what you need from them? So if you are if you're a wellness consultant or expert of any kind, and you're working with people on certain wellness goals or outcomes, perhaps the first or one of the initial stages of working with them, you want them to fill out some kind of a diary, right? And maybe for accountability's sake or for your analysis, so that you can provide recommendations to them, you need them to submit that diary to you. Well, do you want to hunt that down in your email, right? Or would you rather just go into their contact card in AttractWell and find where they've uploaded that document? Pretty cool, right? Communication can also exist, again, solely inside of this private portal. So this can exist alongside your content or in an independent discussion room. And so what this would mean is, let's just say you have a video where you are explaining a particular concept that your client needs to learn in order for you guys to reach a new milestone in your work together. If they have questions about that content, you have the ability to enable discussion right there next to that content. So it's in context, right? So that they can ask questions right there when they come up, and you'll be able to address them right there on the same page. And then, little things, details, resources. So pages, just like pages on your website, can be used inside of a vault. And pages can have things like your calendar embed link, or you could actually embed the calendar form. You could have affiliate products that you recommend, shopping lists. You could have an outline of your scope of work so that their expectations are set. And really, the sky's the limit here. But it's really just anything that is contextual to the scope of work that you do with that private client. And then, of course, with all of these other things here, you have your entire interface of how you would be working with your client in one space. And the cool thing is that once you've got this built, you can make this offer over and over again and just make a copy of this thing and use it for the next one and the next one and so on. So let's talk about some best practices here before we go and actually get into what the tech looks like. The first thing that we want to make sure that we are thinking about here is to build this. If you want to do this, what I'm talking about here, do this first to support an existing offer, right? It's really important that you are, forgive the typo there. It's really important that you are not trying to invent something new while learning new technology, right? So make this about something that you're currently selling, and you'll be good, right? It'll flow logically, and you'll be able to set this up in a way that makes really good sense to you, so that the next time you want to create something that is new to you and your business, a new thing that you're offering, you're going to feel a lot better about how you get that set up. And of course, if you have unlimited vaults and online classes, then you have all kinds of room to play with different iterations of this stuff. Now, the first step, once you have determined what offer you're going to be filling this vault with, the next thing that you're going to want to do is create your leverage teaching materials or gather them. So this would mean if you are coaching, you want to make sure that you've got video content, written content, articles, links, downloads, PDFs, all of the stuff of what you would be offering, because when you put someone into a vault, they're either going to see stuff there or they're not. And if somebody just, I don't know, paid you a high ticket price to work with you one-on-one, it's going to feel a lot better for them to show up into a place where they can actually see that there's quite a lot there for them to interact with, or that they can expect themselves to interact with moving forward. So get your leverage teaching materials together. They'll save you a ton of time, and we'll put those into an online class so that your vault has content from the start. And here's where this gets, I guess, the technical piece here, because what we're ultimately talking about is creating a single vault that is the client experience that we want to provide for this offer. But I want you to create it and then don't put anybody in it, right? Because this is going to be our template vault. It's one that you're going to have set up exactly how you want it, that you can copy whenever you need it for a new client. Right? So once you make it how you want it, we're going to make a copy of it, and that's what you add your first client to. And then the way that we copy this is a little bit different from how you might copy other resources, because a vault is a little bit more of a complicated thing than, say, a blog post or a page or a saved reply. It's quite a lot of things. So we're going to use the resource bundle feature to copy your template vault, which I'll show you how to do here in just a bit. Now, before we, get too far down any rabbit hole, I do want to call your attention to a couple of things that's going to facilitate, your understanding of this as well as your implementation. The number one thing that I want to encourage you to do is to grab this while it's still free. That's AttractWell.com/online course. Now, don't let the name of this fool you. What this is a way for you to create exactly the experience that you want for a client. Now, that could wind up being something that's an online course that anybody could pay for, and you could serve thousands of people at once. But you can follow the same steps and tweak the different options to create the perfect curated client portal using what's in this course. So grab this. It's going to go a long way for you. Okay. Now, we do have a couple of additional trainings that'll facilitate greater understanding and implementation of this as well. You don't necessarily have to dive into all of them right away, but they will help you out as you're moving through. And I'll give you a little bit of context. You can search any of these on our YouTube channel to find them. Number one, if you do not yet have your content set up in a leveraged way to serve your clients, namely, if you don't have videos made yet, right, that are teaching the concepts that your client needs to know, so that you aren't spending all of your time in coaching calls being a teacher, you're spending more time being a coach, for instance. Make sure that you look up and watch this training on how to coursify your coaching and kind of break things down so that you can really make things more bite-sized, easily implemented. And you'll find that if you go through this process, you will work through your time with clients more quickly and more efficiently and with better outcomes. Sales pages, of course, once you have this experience set up and ready to sell, you, of course, want to have a place where you are making that pitch. We do have a sales page training that does include a sales page template that you can use to sell this experience to private clients. We also have a training on new client onboarding systems. This goes into several things that you could be using on the back end. So for instance, and we've actually had a few people who are in the wellness space specifically, who are using a platform maybe like Practice Better, that are wanting to transition over to using AttractWell on a dedicated basis. This new client onboarding systems is going to touch on the vaults and online classes that we're talking about today, but it's also going to talk a little bit about the email and text marketing and what goes to them where, and so on. And I will show you, Peggy, how you can find these here in just a second. It's actually a search feature on YouTube. It'll make your life really easy. So we're going to talk this through in action. I'll head over to YouTube first and show you. If we go to youtube.com/AttractWell, bear with me for just a second. I'm going to switch my share over so you guys can see this. All right, so the first one was how to coursify your coaching. So I'm just going to type in course, and I think that's going to actually show me. Yeah, here we go. How to coursify your coaching. That is the first one that I've mentioned here. The next one is sales pages. So we can type in sales here. And that's this sales page template. This how to sell anything on AttractWell is also something that you could use. Although specifically, I think you're going to probably like the sales pages training here, where we're talking about a high ticket offer. And then finally, new client onboarding systems. I would just type in onboard or onboarding. Here we go. And it's this one right here, new client onboarding systems. And this, how to create your own digital personal assistant with AttractWell. I think everybody should watch that one too, but that's kind of an aside. You could watch a lot of stuff, but I don't want to send you down rabbit holes you don't need to go down yet. So let's go and take a look at the AttractWell client portal. And I'm going to show you what it would look like potentially for you. All right, so this is a member area, right? So we're going over a couple, this is a high level overview here. In AttractWell, you have your website, right? You have your blog, you've got all of your back-end capabilities like email and text, lots of cool stuff like that. You have a private login for clients who have access to your vaults. You have a member area, right? So it's your website with AttractWell.com/members. Okay. And when they go there and they sign in, they're going to see whatever they have access to. Now, this is a member area. What we're seeing here, this whole deal is a member area. Now, member area can only hold one piece of content or one type of content, and that's called a vault. Right? So we're in a member area, and the only thing we see here are vaults, and that's these three things right here. Now, these are all vaults that are currently set up to be online courses. Any of them, however, could be set up to be private coaching. And I'll give you an example of a group coaching one and some others. This obviously with the private client work, we're sort of limited on what we can show and share as real working examples for the sake of privacy. But these are all vaults. Inside of vaults, we have a few different things that live inside of them. In this particular case, this is an online class. This is a type of content you can have inside the vault. And inside this online class, this is where you put your content, right? So this is where we would have your videos. This is where we would have downloads, right? Where you can upload PDFs. And then you do have the option again of enabling discussion. And I want to see, actually, I'm going to show you a working example of a group coaching vault that I use for a program several times a year that could be set up really similarly to how you might run a private client interface. So this is a vault, right? Inside of this vault, this is a page. I'll click it and show you what that looks like. We're setting expectations in here. We're talking about dates. We're talking about scope. We're giving links to pertinent things. So that's a page. We have the curriculum. So this would be, again, it's set up as an online course or an online class rather inside of AttractWell. But this could be used for a private client to go through one-on-one. And so instead of, let's just say, for instance, you know, loads and loads of people discussing down here, it would just be one person discussing whatever is there, right? And then, of course, you do have the ability to require that they upload their homework. So if you say, for instance, in order for you to work with your client, they must watch this quick video to learn about this particular thing that they need to do. Maybe you're teaching them to keep a food journal or something like that, or they're a practice log or whatever that might be. You put that in the downloads here. And then you can use any number of free fillable PDF makers on the internet to make it fillable if you like. And then, of course, you can make it required that they upload that here in order to proceed to the next lesson, which is pretty cool. And so you can see right here, we actually have lots of folks who are commenting here. But if this were a private vault just for one client, this would only be a place for you and your client to speak one-on-one about whatever it is that you're working on. And the only people who would see this are you and your client. So going back to the vault, that's our online class. So this is where you would want to put your content if you work with someone in sequence. Maybe they need to understand this and do that before they move to the next stage, etc. Or maybe you just have, you know, categories of information that you want them to be able to reference. All of that is stuff that you can include in here. Now, getting back to the vault, there are a couple of features yet that I want to make sure you see. This is, we're calling this a community mastermind, but this could be a private chat. This is what's called a discussion room inside of AttractWell. And in here, you can post, they can post. You can tag each other. You can respond in threads. You can add images. You can link to videos. You can link to pages, all kinds of really cool stuff. And then here's an example as well. If you, again, if you're recording your coaching calls, if you're uploading those, I recommend using something like a Vimeo or other private hosting. You would want to grab that link once it's processed and uploaded into your whatever your hosting is. You can then embed that here. So you can have all of your client recordings for the scope of your time together here inside of the same space. Another one here, I have a list of reading materials. You know, these could all certainly be links off to your, if you're an Amazon associate, these could be affiliate links. You know, in this case, I've got a reading list. You may have shopping lists, whatever that might look like for you. And then, of course, you can always see the most recent activity in here. Now, that's the front end of this. Now, on the back end, what you're able to do, aside from actually setting this stuff up, is on your individual client's contact card inside of your contact manager, you're actually able to see what videos they watched inside of the online class, for instance, right? You're able to see what they uploaded, whatever their file is that they uploaded in the homework section, right? And really cool, if you are encouraging them to use the app, the AttractWell app, then you also have the ability to have your work with them live on the home screen of their tablet or mobile device. And so this means that you can send them in-app notifications. So you can actually ping through in a way that isn't just text and email. So, and you of course can get notifications for when they post in there. You can respond to them in kind. And again, instead of this just being something that's like an email thread, because you could have 47 million different email threads with a client, depending on who initiates the conversation and so on, it can get kind of messy, right? But you could have all of that inside of one space if you're using a private vault, which is pretty cool. So I am interested to see what kind of questions you guys have so that we can kind of show you a little bit of you know, how this might work for you contextually. I'm going to head back over to the AttractWell system and the back end of this and into the member area setup. And I'll actually show you how some of these things are set up for you so you can get an idea. But if you do the take the online course, so attractwell.com/online course, and you're going to know exactly what you need to know when you need to know it to set this stuff up. So under member area from the dashboard, we can click vaults. And then once we do that, we're going to be able to see whatever the things are that we have created. My computer is a little bit slow today, but you're going to see all of those things that we have set up. I'm going to give that a moment just because it is, again, taking quite a bit and get into some questions here while I'm waiting for my browser to behave. Melody says, when one uses your phone or text system, can one make a sales funnel with it, such as Boss Lady Bio or, okay. What I would love to see is a website, membership site inside, or text messaging. Would be nice to see finished products you're so hooked on our company, but would love to see a functioning system, how things tie together. Would there be something on YouTube already? So Melody, we have a lot of that in different pieces. The thing is, what you're kind of asking for is to sort of see all of the proprietary stuff on the back end of somebody's existing business. And if there's somebody who has that set up that would be open to sharing that with you, then obviously that's at their discretion. The best we can really do without getting express permission from someone is to give you, the pieces we can share, right? So what I did just show you was, a full functioning vault. That is something that's used that I personally run a couple times a year. Let's see, but you can absolutely, make a sales funnel with us. We have loads of training on all of these different things that we're talking about: creating a website, creating a sales funnel, creating the membership portal, all of that. And we do actually have independent sort of contextual pieces that teach you how to get that done. And so that is in the form of the courses that we offer to you guys. All right, so my browser decided to behave. So let's come back here. So this is your dashboard where you can see what you have inside of your member area. So these are all vaults. So like I said, and actually let's go look at one versus the others. So it's in attractwell.com/members. So you can see this is what the client sees, right? So here's client portal, vault 1, vault 2, vault 3. Right? Vault 1, vault 2, vault 3. So inside of these, and we can go just play around with this a little bit. You have a lot of options here. The first one you want to do is, of course, to put your content in this particular case, it's an online class. So if you want to add content to a vault, and again, the online course teaches you how to do this, you can actually click here, and then you can add a class that you've already created or create a new one. In this case, we have one that already exists. And again, let me just go into here and show you. There's the modules. So here's your core currency, just as an example. You can see the video, there's a download, and there's a little bit of copy here in this discussion prompt. So if we go to core currency here, you can actually see, same thing. There's our conversation starter. Our video link from Vimeo is right here. And then we have the downloads down here in the download section. So you've got all of that managed. Now, if I wanted to find, let me pop out of here real quick so I can make sure I am not compromising anybody. Okay, here we go. Because this is actually like a thing that exists. This is a real vault that we use. So here's a dummy account here. You can actually see this person is a part of a vault. So here's the AttractWell Pipeline Igniter. You can actually see what lessons they've accessed, if they've completed them, if they have that check mark. You can see that they've accessed them if the eye is showing. You can see that they've completed them if there's a green check mark. And then you can also see what percentage of the video that they've watched. Now, if this particular vault had homework, if we click homework, you would also be able to see all of the files that were uploaded by the client right here. And then, of course, all of the discussion that you would be having with the client would be happening right in here, right? Which would be between you and your client in this case, as opposed to the entirety of the community, which is what you can see in this existing one. So that's basically it. I mean, what you want to do to create a private experience for your one-on-one client is to design a vault, really just like you would design a course or a program, except it's with the intention of serving one person at a time. And if you're taking advantage of the unlimited vaults and classes feature with AttractWell, which again is just $17 a month, then you can have so many clients that you serve on this one-on-one basis in this leveraged way. It's just such a powerful thing for you to be able to do, for you to stay organized, and for your client to always see what's next. Oh, one more thing that I want to show you, and don't want to go too far down a rabbit hole with this, but one thing that you can do in here is on the contact card, you can actually have progress metrics that you set up with your contact. And you can choose whether or not they can view and edit this from inside of their client portal. And they would actually go over to my account and they'd be able to see this information, I believe is how that would look. I am logged in as an administrator. So this looks a little bit different right here than it would for the client. But you guys can actually share, view, and edit different metrics if you are tracking things together, working on things together. And then, of course, if you are sending out any kind of additional information, text messages, campaigns via text or email, you can actually see what was sent to them, when it was sent, if they opened it, and even if they clicked a link. Of course, all of that is just standard stuff that you can see from the contact card. But yeah, this keeps everything inside of your AttractWell dashboard and inside of your member area in how you're serving your private clients. All right, so I'm going to get into the Q&A here. And then we do, again, have a couple folks who we're going to chat with here on the call as well. Sherry Lee says, I was just curious if there was an estimated time when the funnel marketing course will be starting this year. If you already covered this. Yeah, so we have a workshop series that we are running this year, and apologies for not having been able to get that information out a little sooner. We had a lot of family stuff going on, which thankfully resolved in a really, really wonderful, unexpected way. And so you should be looking for that information by 1st of next week for all of the dates going ahead for this quarter for those workshops that were made available at the end of last year. Okay, TL asks, what is your opinion regarding community in an internal app versus Facebook groups and Discord? I hear that the latter tends to get better engagement. You're always going to get better engagement on a platform that's built for the purpose of engaging people and keeping people around. So if you're wanting things to stay active and busy, then Discord, Facebook, in particular Facebook, are going to be a more effective place. It really just has to the decision you make really should have to do with what the goal is that you have. So if you're trying to create a free community to attract and nurture leads, Facebook, Discord, places like that are going to be advantageous to you because you're showing up where people are already hanging out. But if we're talking about serving clients, it actually behooves you to be in a quieter place on your own website, like we were showing here today. That is my 2 cents on that, and thanks for asking. Susan says, I've used an app called Apollo to collect contact information from LinkedIn. How can I transfer that information from Apollo to AttractWell other than manually? So I'm not familiar with Apollo, but I feel like there's a really high likelihood that the contact information you would have received from Apollo is either in CSV format or can be exported to CSV format. So if it is in like a spreadsheet type of format, then you can 100% just upload all of that into AttractWell. Just make sure when you're doing that upload, you're maybe adding the tag LinkedIn or the tags LinkedIn and Apollo upload or something like that so that you can designate and delineate who those people are to communicate effectively. Thank you, Mark. How many lessons and content can I have inside of one vault? That's a really good question, Julia. It really depends on your plan limit or if you have unlimited vaults and classes. If you have unlimited vaults and classes, you can literally have unlimited whatever inside of a vault. So if your plan level has unlimited pages and you have unlimited vaults and classes, then I mean you could like Encyclopedia Britannica yourself in your vault. Don't do that. Terrible business idea. But you can have lots and lots and lots of content. And the thing is too, and I think this is an important thing to note, once you create one online class, you could use it over and over and over again. So you can copy that online class into a new vault, or if you want that same online class where you work with a client privately to be something that you just offer at a lower price point for people who just buy it to DIY, you can drop that online class right into a new vault that people can just buy for whatever amount of money you want to charge. And you've not done new work and you're selling the thing that you already made. So they're modular in that way, which I think is just really exciting. Where can I find info on the $17 add-on for unlimited vaults and courses? So if you actually go to, I think it's just the, like, go to your...
Just click on vault, I think in the menu, and it's right there. There'll be a little link at the top that says, would you like unlimited vaults and classes? And there's the click here, and it'll take you right there.
Yeah. So we click
and
vaults.
Same for classes too, it's in both areas.
Yeah. So click here to learn more. And that's going to take you right there. And it'll show you, and you can actually unlock those and get started with that right there. And it's not like a contract commitment either, you know, so don't worry if you want to get started with it, you decide it's not for you, just reach out. Yulia says, if I'm putting online course and membership, can it be set up in one vault, or do I need one vault for course and another vault for membership? I would do one vault per paid offer. So if your offer, like for the entirety of the client experience, right? So if the membership is not something that's included with a course, then you need to build the membership separately from the course. You could, like, let's just say, for instance, if somebody signs up for membership, the membership could include the course content, right? Because you want to have a lot more content inside of a membership, because that's going to keep people in there and wanting to pay for it. So the more content you have in a membership, the better off you are. People are going to feel like they're getting more for it. So I would have one per, because you don't have, so you can have different payment options for vaults, but it's a little bit more challenging to gate. Like, you can't gate content once somebody's in a vault. If they're in it, they have access to it, right? There are some creative and clever workarounds to that, but for 17 bucks a month, you can just create the thing that you actually want people to have and sell that and not have to worry about doing backflips to run your business. Can I change the colors of the text? Yes, you 100% can. That is, we do actually have a couple of different trainings on that, but let me show you a quick and easy way to find the information you're looking for. Right here, this little question mark guy, type in colors, and you can actually take care of your presets. So custom colors and fonts is where you want to go, and you can see that's right here. We're actually showing you how to get there. And so you can preset the fonts that you want, the colors that you want for your brand. And then, of course, lots of other cool stuff too. You can change your button colors even as well. And when you're changing your button colors, I would go ahead and just do them all, right? Because different ones, different buttons in here show up in different places in the system. And you're just going to want to have it all be your palette. Good questions. All right. To clarify, if I have a paid offer in a vault, does each client need their own copy of that vault, i.e. 25 clients equals 25 vaults? If the client experience that you're wanting to provide is a private one, where you are, like, if you have a discussion room with just the two of you, then yes, that would be one client per vault, 25 clients, 25 vaults. Yes, that's what that would look like. If it's a group program and it's something that would benefit a bunch of people for being in together, then you could use one vault and serve 25 people with it. But that's, you know, more of like program as opposed to a private client experience like we're talking about today. And again, the cool thing is you're really not managing more, because it's just the same thing. You're going to be logging into the same member area, right? If client A has, and I wouldn't recommend doing this on low ticket offers also, just to be perfectly honest. I really think that this is best for higher ticket offers, just because, I mean, working with someone one-on-one and, like, you know, them sending you messages and you needing to be like responsive and reactive, like, people need to pay you a lot of money to be reactive, basically, is what I'm advocating for here. So yeah, that would be 25, and good on you for 25 high ticket clients. So Yulia, where you want to start is pretend you're creating an online course. Just pretend you're creating an online course. And I think you may have one already, right? And then get that set up in AttractWell, and then just basically anything else. So like, if somebody needs to be able to, if they pay to work with you, then when they get access to the vault, they need to be able to book with you. So you're going to want to include your booking link inside of that vault, right? As well as that content. And you make sure that you check out those supplemental trainings that I mentioned as well. The new client onboarding one, I think, is going to help you basically take the online course approach with the private sort of the private client experience, and really kind of create the thing that you're really looking for. We can do the opposite also, right? Have one vault as a membership and clients sign up that access the same vault. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you could just have one and serve all your people. That's the easy way, right? And so if you have maybe a lower cost offer or a group offer or a course, then you're just going to want to have a vault for that thing that you can sell. Okay, thank you so much for your patience. It is time to bring out, let me see, I have, is this what, who is here today? All right. Oh, Yulia, you said you weren't sure where to start. Let's talk. All right, I'm gonna find you here real quick and bring you out. Thank you for your patience. Glad to have you back. Hi.
Hi guys, thank you so much for wonderful training again. I'm looking forward every Thursday to get a little bit more light into this thing that I'm doing. And my question today is, as I started to put online course, I'm realizing that it's so much work, so much content that I need to create, the worksheet and videos and everything. And my membership side, it's like on the horizon. It's like cannot be even seen yet. So what I can do to start, making money now? Like I have what I can offer that quickly. That's like one-on-one piano lessons, or I have affiliate marketing that I can like with the books and the piano sheets, or I can sell piano sheets, or I can sell maybe separate tutorials for piano music. And maybe I'm just like overcomplicating everything, but at the same time, like, I'm working on something that it's something on the horizon, but I need to be able to produce income now. And I don't know, maybe you don't have an answer to that, but any idea would be welcome.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm not sure if you've gone through it yet, but the AttractWell Pipeline Igniter, it was created specifically for this. Yeah. So basically what I would encourage you to do, you're a big thinker and you're a visionary thinker. I can tell you're thinking 27 steps ahead. You see the big thing that you want that's ahead, like with a membership and all of these things flourishing, and you've got all of these different ideas. The thing that you need to do is it's simply a step in that direction, and you can be making near-term money doing that, right? You can be generating revenue while you're working in the direction of building that thing that you want. So think about it like this. You've got to build a building, right? Your ultimate goal is to have this flourishing school. It's a membership. People are paying you monthly, and you've got all this great content that's created. It's in there. And you've got, some private clients as well, but you've got some really nice sort of residual, not the best term to use, but, sort of you got recurring revenue with this membership. You have to build a building, right? You need bricks to build this building. What I want you to think about doing is get paid showing people how to make bricks, right? Get paid while you're making your bricks, one brick at a time. And that's what the Pipeline Igniter is really about, is what are the bricks that need to get made? And now let me make them. And in making them, you can be doing one of two things. You can be collecting your case studies and testimonials, your proof of concept, and that's in a free or discounted rate kind of thing. It's really up to you. Or you could position the value of whatever making that brick looks like for them, and offer it at a reduced price, right? So you can say, I'm basically wanting to prove that I am able to help this type of person get from this point to this point, this goal that they have, and helping them to achieve that takes this long and it's worth this much money, right? So, say that that's what it's worth, and then say to and obviously you want to start with someone that's close to you. I was talking to TL about this last week, which is, sort of like thinking about this Venn diagram where you've got people that you're connected to who want an outcome, and what that outcome is, and people who are willing to pay for that outcome. And somewhere in the middle there is somebody and you want to go to them and say, hey, I'm developing this new content and a new program, and I'd like to offer you a special rate. And in exchange, we're going to work together to get this thing done. And maybe in your case, you're recording the work that you're doing. Right? So if you're on Zoom, you're recording a lesson, and that can be one of the first things that goes into your membership or that goes into a course. So if you're teaching, like if you're going to be showing up and teaching music theory, for instance, you teach music. So let's say you're teaching, time signatures, record yourself teaching time signatures. You now have your time signature teaching content, right? So start creating the things that you need to build the big building, while you're actually like, you're not building a thing that's far away. You're building a thing that's right here, right? You're actually building it around you. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, yes. And you're right. I'm thinking like too many steps ahead of me, and I'm losing sometimes the reality of like now and what can be done now. Yes, thank you for that. Yes, I'm going to focus on maybe teaching and recording, and that way building my content while I'm already doing it with the other people.
Yeah, once you have that sequence of content that'll help somebody get an outcome on their own. So again, if we're just talking, I'm just using music theory as a basic as a baseline here, because I know it's a necessary piece. So you know, you teach these concepts, and instead of just getting paid once because the client's paying you to do it, or you know, you're doing that with a client and maybe you're doing it for free so that they're learning, they're getting a result that you can use as a case study, but you're also creating the content that you're eventually going to sell. So you're just kind of, you're multi-purposing. You're working once, earning multiple times.
Got it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming out. Excited to learn about your progress next time you come out. All right, TL, let me grab you here and bring you out to chat. Hello.
Hi, you folks hear me okay?
Yeah, we can. Good to have you back.
Cheers. Good to be back. Hi, Ashley. Hi, Greg. Can I just say before you progress, thank you so much. You know, you've managed to answer in very simple terms some of the most pressing questions I haven't had answered after paying some really high-ticket coaching courses. So I really want to say I sincerely appreciate that, including the stuff you said about the community. You know, sure, you make it sound so simple, except I've been trying to figure that one out, for example, for months now. And so thanks for that. I want to respect your time, so let me try and be as quick as I can. What I'm struggling with for a while now is personal branding versus whatever is not non-personal branding, like, I don't know, like forming an academy. I already have a website which calls itself an academy, but that was just a stepping stone. And I'm trying to figure out what are the pros and cons of personal branding versus an academy, and where's the line between using the press reviews I've had as an artist, or the quote unquote credibility that's built up over the years, to enhance my profile as a coach and coming across as narcissistic?
Oh, it's such a good question. So your academy is your product, right?
Okay.
Your coaching is your product. Basically, everything that you sell is your product. But the reason why those products are purchased is because somebody found you and resonates with you, trusts you, finds you credible. So personal brand, really above all else, unless, you know, unless one of your products gets such crazy publicity and PR that it can, you know, it pulls its own SEO and it makes sense to like really just chase that as a brand. And I'm actually kind of struggling to think of an example of this right now. You know, like Marie Forleo came to mind. B School. A lot of people know B School, but you probably don't know B School unless you know Marie Forleo, right?
Right.
And so, and that's just one example. And anybody who's in the business coaching world, you probably know who I'm talking about. If you don't, you know, it's a pretty solid example of like that. Here's a personal brand, and the reason why you purchase the things from that person is because of that brand. So I think that it's important to brand your offerings. So having a name for your school, owning the URL for the name of your academy and the things that you're doing, they're smart things. But where you want to focus your efforts, in particular in how you're showing up online. So the website that you're blogging on, where you're focusing your SEO efforts, where your PR efforts are pointing back to, those all need to be things that are tied to the name that you're putting out there into the world. Your social media profiles and handles and everything, they all need to really be kind of unified around the name you want people to know you by, which is your name and not a product or a business name. And to that end, you know, when you think about what a brand stands for, it's not just the stuff that it sells, right? Like, especially in this day and age. I forgot what the joke was that I heard recently. I forgot who told it. But basically the joke was, you're not just going to the store to buy a brand of crackers, you're buying a brand of crackers to change the world. It's a little silly, but it really is, it's how people make purchasing decisions. Now it's, we identify with things that feel like us, or things that we want to surround ourselves with, or people we want to surround ourselves with. So if you think about the purpose of your brand in a bigger sense, in a grander sense, if there are press releases and press and just general stuff that's out there about the work that because you are yourself, you are a brand, everything that you do is under the umbrella of your brand. If the press that's out there, if it supports the broader, grander vision of what your brand wants to achieve, which is not just selling stuff, then it fits. If it doesn't, like the line draw is really drawn, I think, with context to the outcomes that your brand is either promising or sort of pointing to on the horizon. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. That makes exactly yeah, you did it again. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It really means a lot to have that feedback.
No, and I'm really, I really say that because I mean it. How does this translate to my website address? This was something I was talking to Greg about earlier on as well. As of now, it's, these projects have kind of had parallel lives till now over the years. So now I have an artist website, a podcast website, 2 coaching websites, and a freelance writing website, which is a side gig anyway. What do I do now? Do I just keep attending to each website individually, or try and bring them under an umbrella? And also, what do I do with my AttractWell website that's lying unattended without a personalized domain name?
Yeah. So do any of those so the first question is, we have to first answer the, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We have to address that. Would you say that any of your URLs, any of your websites right now are generating traffic and leads that you would be at a loss for if you were to consolidate or not have that domain or not use it for that same purpose anymore?
Oh, that's a great question, actually. I never actually looked into that. I'm pretty sure my artist website and the podcast websites play a pretty big role. I've been pretty much under the radar with the rest of them. I haven't been doing a lot of publicity per se. That is actually an excellent question. I should look into that.
Yeah, so that's the first thing that you would want to look at. If you are getting good traffic, if you search your name online, like if that's coming up in the first search results, things like that, do a little bit of looking there just to make sure that you aren't disadvantaging yourself. Generally speaking, if you don't have a lot of leads and opportunities showing up on a consistent basis, you're fine with making a change, right? But if you are getting a steady drip of leads, I think this is going to be more applicable for anyone watching. Like if you have or have had a brick and mortar business, like let's just say you're a chiropractor, for instance, and you have maybe invested in local SEO so that people in your locale know who you are and that you are that expert in that area. In some cases, it makes sense to maybe maintain that page, but then have everything on it point to something on AttractWell. Right. But if you're not in a position where you're actually getting that rank on Google and you're not getting leads from it, it's generally not going to really bother anything for you to change. The next question is, do any of your domains contain your name, right? Like which one is the one that if you were to say, here is myname.com, do you have a myname.com?
No, I don't have a myname.com, which is why I was wondering if you think that's a good idea to put to use with AttractWell.
100%.
Where I basically summarize all of my, everything I do. That's my artist website. That's my podcast website. Is that a good idea, or does that run the risk of confusing visitors?
So what I would argue is that it would be best to just consolidate into one place that is your name .com or some version of your name.com, right? So it's not not everybody wants to do a first name, last name.com, you know, depending on the market that you're in, you know, and whether or not you feel it's easy for people to phonetically, you know, spell out your name, then it might make sense to get creative, right? Like, so we have one of a member of our community who has a huge following. Her last name is I think it's Polish, and it's not something that if you hear it, you wouldn't just go, oh, that's how you spell it, right? And so hers is like, it's with her first name, so with name.com, right? And so she uses that for everything. And so that's, you know, that's a thing you could do, you know, it could be music with TL, or, you know, it's not like a hard and fast rule, but it does need to be about you. And then people can go there and then they can see, oh, well, he does this, he does this, he has this, he has that. And then the utilization of those domain names that you own otherwise would really just be used in your marketing. So for instance, if you do a podcast episode and you talk about your school, you could say schooladress.com. And that really is just going to point to a page on your AttractWell site. And you're just using your domain management to just point that URL there. And so it's just an easy marketing tool. So you can just speak it or put it somewhere and it looks good. But you would just be pointing everything to your AttractWell site. So basically all of the URLs, what I'm advocating for here is first, get a domain name that is representative of you and your brand, and as close to your name as possible is really the most logical thing, because we want your name to be known. We want people to be seeking you out to be on their podcast and to speak, and they need to be able to type your name in somewhere and, you know, figure out how to find you and book you and so on. And so find that URL. And then what I would work on doing is kind of making your AttractWell website the hub that really contains all of that other stuff, right? So, you know, your school, you could obviously, I think that's the goal, move it over to AttractWell. So that's going to be at attractwell.com/members. But if you want to go to the sales page, maybe it's what you used before as the URL for your academy or school, and that goes to your sales page, right?
That's fantastic. Thank you. That answers all my questions. Just wanted to let you know, I took your advice by offering something like a beta course. I got 6 signups. I couldn't get there, but I did have to offer a free course. So I'm offering them 3 free coaching sessions in exchange for an official testimonial. And that starts this week. Any pointers on how to? I mean, you just talked about this on the earlier call with you there. But any additional pointers to how to make the best out of these sessions with these beta testers?
Good question. Try to keep what you do as systematized as possible on the calls. So thinking about this like like a system, you know, like an engineer, like if you're going to an element, or if we're mathing or sciencing this, then we're going to do A, B, C, D to get E outcome, right? And so just make sure that when you're showing up that you're following that same A, B, C, D framework every time. And that way your results are really going to be a more accurate reflection of the process that is your offer, right? And it's going to allow you as well, I think, it's going to allow you space for growth, because you're going to be able to more easily identify places where you can improve. If you're always following the same steps, then you're going to see, I mean, obviously everybody has different needs, but you're going to see and anticipate better where you can show up more effectively. And this is important in how you're creating leverage in the future with your content, with how you serve clients. You're able to anticipate holes or gaps and fill that content in where it's appropriate, so that your clients get better outcomes. Perfect.
Yeah, I can only repeat, you did it again. Thank you so much. That answers, that really does answer all the questions there. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Fabulous. All right. Well,
You
we're
guys
so
are
thrilled to
awesome.
have you back. Thank you.
Yeah.
And we appreciate you. We're so excited to see what you do with this.
I will be back again soon. So thank you.
All right. Fantastic. All right, you guys, thank you for sticking around. Always just love the energy that you guys bring to the call, the questions. Remember, we do have a Facebook group. Join us there. Let us know how these things are working for you. If you want to work on something together, You can go to attractwell.com/work review. You can set time aside on a future call, just like we did here today with TL and Yulia. And of course, if you've got something that you think might even require a little bit more time, we can use a call like this to benefit the whole community. If it's something that you're open to, we can talk through how you might in your unique business approach solving a problem using AttractWell, and you wouldn't believe how beneficial that is for someone else who is probably in a similar position to you. So don't be shy, reach out, let us know. We're thrilled to work with you and just so excited to see you create in this new year. So we'll be back same time next week, 2 p.m. Eastern. Until then, you guys have a great week. Take care.